everyone, and welcome to Pitch Perfect. My name is Sharifa Muniz, and I am the founder and executive director of the Newwave Foundation. And like I said, this is our first ever business pitch competition, Pitch Perfect. In response to our application call, we had an overwhelming response with so many amazing candidates to choose from. We were, however, able to finally select 10 diverse student entrepreneurs with absolutely brilliant business concepts. But before we get started, we would like to take some time to recognize our wonderful sponsors who made everything leading up to today's event possible. Let's meet our distinguished panel of Pitch Perfect judges. First up, we have Patrick Muniz, the visionary leader of Newwave Holdings, a dynamic portfolio of IT companies changing the relationship between technology, information, and humans in the healthcare industry. Next, we're happy to introduce you to Cindy Mitchell. She is the CEO and co-founder of Blue Flare LLC. Blue Flare is an IT recruitment and staffing firm with a client-first approach. Our next judge is Daryl Frater. Daryl was most recently a venture fellow at Score3 Ventures, where he assisted underrepresented founders in raising their first rounds of funding. Our final judge is Neka Pai. She is the Chief Strategy Officer at FinTech Wealthy and leads CEO strategy at pre-IPO tech unicorn Better.com. To get us started this afternoon, I have the pleasure of introducing our Pitch Perfect facilitator. Amanda Span is an innovation strategist, serial app entrepreneur, and podcaster. Without further ado, I'll pass it over to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Sharifa. Excited to be here and to be able to present these amazing startups to you guys. We can go ahead and get started. So we have Ryan from Spotlight.
Hey everyone, nice to see you all. Nice to be here. Happy Saturday to you. Just gonna get my screen ready to share. All right, great. Okay. All right, nice to see you all. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Ryan Boyd, CEO, co-founder of Spotlight, where you share your unique story through an anonymous review site for diverse teams, employees, and employers. So about us, right? So again, Ryan Boyd, started my career off at Accenture and Deloitte, served as a product manager there in the digital transformation practice. Our co-founder, Quentin Butler, CTO, is a senior infrastructure engineer, worked in Silicon Valley at Open Door, Marqeta. And we've actually experienced this stuff firsthand. So how does it feel to work at a company where you're the only minority or where you're kind of isolated? So I started my career off at Oracle, and we would have 4 people of like Black cohorts come in at a time. And you think what that looks like in an all-white environment, right? Pretty bad. So bad to the point I actually quit my job. So that's a $50,000 on salary loss, but from an employee standpoint, that's like $550 billion lost across the market. And so you think of how do you engage these folks who are not like you, or how do you increase the productivity, which overall increases the actual profits and revenue. We think of diversity as like a political thing, but it's really economical. So increased diversity and engagements increased profits by 21%. Organizations that actually practice this were also increasing just overall revenue margins by 19%, increasing creativity, productivity, innovation, you name it. So do people even want this, right? Absolutely. High demand from users. We on our social media platforms, LinkedIn and Instagram specifically, we have a really, really large engagement. Folks just like really engaging with us to the point where U.S. Air Force actually responded to our story. U.S. Air Force, StockX, Wells Fargo, and folks just want it. They're not getting what they need from the current platforms currently out there. And so here's just a brief demo review page. So you think as a user, you go to the website spotlightbeta.com. and a really good use case, actually. So about 4 to 6 months ago, Amazon was in the news, go figure, for having a workplace culture issue, specifically with Black women. And we saw an uptick of reviews within that week. And believe it or not, they were not from Black women. They were actually from people who were not Black, minorities and white people. So that goes to show that there is actually a cohesive need as well. And again, folks aren't just looking at this from a Black or brown perspective, but really just from an employee perspective as well. So how does it work? You match the employee up with the employer through tags. And we do this through a matchmaking system. So you look at like your mentorship opportunities, ability to try new projects, microaggressions maybe. And then of course you have your actual review of the company, culture, values, professional development, workplace balance. And what this does is it matches the employer up with the employee to increase engagement and retention and reduce employee turnover. And we're focused on those darn millennials and Gen Z. The ones who give us the most problems are actually bringing in the most revenue right now. And this was highlighted during COVID as well. Folks are moving from companies based upon workplace culture, and they're taking pay cuts for it. So we're offering anonymous forms, artificial intelligence, so the software is always learning, D&I analytics for the HR professionals, Uberfied on-demand consulting, and of course, recruiting and job matchmaking. All right, what makes us different, right? That's the question we get all the time. Why can't somebody just copy you? Well, the same reason why Facebook was different from MySpace, or the same reason why you go to that one soul food restaurant for fish versus McDonald's for fish fillet. We're close to the people, close to the users, and we understand what the blind spots that other folks may be missing. And also there's a really large distrust for large organizations who really just capitalize and exploit minorities specifically. So the market demand is huge. We're talking 300 million in 2021. That is over 200 million from 2019. And the shift was during George Floyd and the protests. So that's an increase of 136%. If we just get 10% market capture, that puts us in 150 million revenue in over 5 years. So the future growth, of course, more professionals, better workplace culture environments, and then overall, better just profits really for companies. And so here's our roadmap. 2021, we did an MVP. That's a minimum viable product. We got successful, have platform and have users growing. 2022, next year, we wanted to go into more specifics, company dashboard, we provide on-demand consulting. And then 2023, really start putting the artificial intelligence and recruiting platform in place. And then hopefully by 2024, we become the gold standard and at least get 49% market share. And how we plan to use the funding. So pre-seed, we would ask for 50,000, and then of course we break this up between 15K for developing the SaaS platform, software as a service, mass marketing, so we know how much it costs to identify and close a user, 15K, operating expenses for IT, 5,000, new customer acquisition for a freemium model, 15K, and then of course that leads to profitable, usable growth. Trying to click next. Thank you all so much, and let's make workplace culture better together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Now we'll be opening up the floor to questions from the judges.
Yeah, I can kick us off. Hi, everyone. My name's Neka. Really great pitch and amazing to see how far it's come since the last time I heard it. My only question for you is, during your pitch, you said if we get just 10% of market capture, we win. And I want to know, in your words, what the main drivers are for how you get to 10%.
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And thank you. And thank you for all your help, by the way, as well. So 10% starts with acquisition of the customer. So the way this platform works is we believe that we're only as good as the users that we have. So there's no true benefit for employers to get on our platform unless users are leaving reviews and actually engaging. How do we do that? So we get as many users as we can. If you look at companies and platforms that go user heavy, you think of your Facebooks of the world, your Instagram of the world, your Glassdoor, LinkedIn, they start with target markets. And so we would start with that, again, millennial and Gen Z market, specifically within high paying industries. You think tech, you think legal, you think finance, get big company names behind them, and then start making those use cases towards the towards the employers. Once we do that, it's a herd effect. So if we find that this is working and the solution's working, which we have identified it does, other companies will get on board, and then we will start to see a ripple domino effect.
Jump in real quickly. Great pitch. I love what you're doing. Would love to hear a little bit more about the revenue model.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had 5 offerings, but the main driver of the revenue is the recruiting matchmaking. So I believe one of the judges here is actually CEO of a recruiting firm. And you know that there is the way that this works, you find the talent, and then of course we get the percentage after the employer is satisfied with that talent. But we want to go a step further with that. And so we all know that companies are looking for diverse talent, you know, quote unquote, but there's a next step. And that next step is, how do you keep that talent? So it's one thing to get them in the door. The other thing is to actually keep them. So that's where we start putting more services on top of that revenue model. You think of your Uber-fied on-demand consulting. That's not happening yet. Within a subscription model, HR professionals will be able to pay this monthly, no strings attached. But if they need somebody to come in as a consultant, somebody to, hey, kind of point the finger at, or really just to get true strategy feedback, you have that. That's one model. Outside of the recruiting matchmaking, companies are paying for that as well. So once we find the talent, we get, of course, a percentage of the salary. And then you think of the analytics and forum dashboard that HR would be utilizing too. So the diversity tech market growing by 136%, as mentioned earlier, there's just nothing but opportunity. And then there's $300 million just floating around that nobody's truly utilizing because there isn't a true service that can identify those needs. So that's how we see our platform truly growing and making revenue.
Thank you, Ryan. We are going to move on to our next company.
So good afternoon, everyone. This is Task, and we are extremely focused on competing against the old way of doing things. I think we all know that scheduling meetings can be very time costly. When I worked at Google, I experienced just that. I learned through research that it can take over 30 minutes to schedule one meeting. Even at Google, it sometimes took me over an hour just to schedule a meeting. So at my desk, I did some basic calculations. I estimated that since it can sometimes take over 30 minutes to schedule one meeting, that means that a company with 100 employees with an average of 3 meetings per employee per day will result in over 2 million minutes wasted, which equals over 1,500 days. I said to myself that that's crazy. So I imagined, what if I could schedule meetings in 1 minute or less? That is when Task came to fruition, where we believe that we will provide the fastest way to kill the calendar. Now, Task is a B2B SaaS product that allows recommendations to drive what time individuals can meet by automatically booking the meeting for the scheduler and allowing the scheduler to book the meeting in one click. The user has a free choice in this case. So you're probably asking, well, who are you and how can you lead Task to success? I am Tishana Wilson, a second-year master's student in computer science at Virginia Tech, 2020 graduate from Florida A&M University, and the CEO and founder of Task. I am most notably known for being named the Black female Mark Zuckerberg and Tech Genius by Black Enterprise Magazine. And I've also interned at multiple companies, with the most known being Google, NASA JPL, and IBM. Currently, Task is in its final stages of filling its first 2 major roles and also has committed advisors who are directors from Fortune 500 companies. Now, in 2024, the online scheduling software market size will reach over $633 million, increasing at a 13.1% compound annual growth rate. Our initial target audience is small to medium enterprises, and currently there are over 61 million SMEs. Now, according to Software Advice, a combined 61% of SMEs experience faster, easier, and more accurate scheduling by using scheduling software. And in 5 years, we believe that we can take 10% market shares of SMEs, which could equal over $305 million in sales. Now, not only is Task focused on acquiring customers, but we are dedicated to keeping customers and staying competitive. Now, there are plenty of services for you, but there are not any like Task, which brings us to our revenue model, which is based on 4 different options, ranging from free to enterprise. You may also ask, well, why now? Especially with one of your competitors being valued at $3 billion, which in fact is the perfect question. For Task, we are in a win-win situation where there's still a huge market opportunity, a first mover advantage with fully automating the scheduling process and having low-cost technology. And for the future customers, not only can we find the best time for you to meet with the user of Task by analyzing a screenshot of your calendar, but Task can also gather your availability from your scheduling link. Right now, TAS is in its iteration development stages. We currently have over 120 beta testers, with 50 of them being SMEs. And several months ago, we ran a successful content marketing giveaway, which resulted in over 2,000 early access signups and converted into 1,200 of those signups willing to test out the product. Now, in the last 8 months, we have received over $25,000 in investments and grants from Gucci, Cumans, and friends and families, and formed partnerships with both Cisco and Courier Media that will help push TAS to the masses. TAS is asking for $10,000 to strengthen our strategy moving forward, to capitalize on being the fastest calendar killer by bringing in great people, building a superior product, and dominating market shares. By using TAS, the busiest people will be able to optimize their schedules and provide more time for family, hobbies, and the things in life that matter most. Thank you.
Thank you, Tashana. We're going to open up the floor for questions.
Yeah, I can go. I would love to hear more about how you view yourself as being positioned to take market share from big companies that have this market, such as Calendly.
So what I'm looking at is I'm now using my competition as help. So with a lot of my competitors using scheduling links, I'm now able to connect to your scheduling link and find your availability from my competitors. So that way I'm increasing the retention rate as it compares to SMEs, for SMEs. So not only can they still use Calendly, but they can use me to enhance their scheduling.
And what does that look like from an end user perspective? So let's say I have Calendly and I want to also use Task. How does that work together?
Yes. So Task is like a 3-part scheduling. So it has the option where you can sign up, connect your calendar to it, and it has your availability from there, where it's able to look at your availability and book meetings from there. Or you can put in your scheduling link and we'll connect through an API, which would then still have your availability. But then since Calendly is like connected to your Google Calendar and Outlook calendar, we're able to connect to that calendar by using Calendly's API, and we can take your availability from there and set up meetings. So it works either way. And it can work both ways if you want it as well.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Patrick Muniz. Good job on what you're building here. What is your deployment model? I noticed you said you connect via Calendly. Have you thought about really deploying your application as an app on, let's just say, Outlook? Was there a reason why you did not want to go that route and you're connecting via Calendly, APIs and stuff?
Yes, I wanted to be able to connect to different sources where it can connect to Google Calendar, Microsoft Calendar directly, and also use a scheduling link. So if I put it directly on Microsoft Outlook, I would be building specifically for Microsoft Outlook, which is the goal later down the line, but I kind of wanted to take from different options and then build from there.
I see what you're trying to do, but from being also an entrepreneur like yourself, you might want to just pick your lane and kind of, I think Outlook is the biggest player in the market. And if you could capture them, you will have a niche that might allow you to be able to kind of pivot to the rest of the calendaring systems out there. But I think what you're trying to do makes a lot of sense, and good job on the journey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tashana. We are going to move on to our next team, and we have Lance from Minute.
Cool. What's up, everybody? I'm Lance Davis. I'm a senior computer engineering student and the founder of Minute. Minute is a monetization platform and a social network where creators can receive tips from their audience and also sell their posts as digital assets. Throughout the presentation, I have taken some people from my target market, Gen Z artists, and I put their art in my presentation just to highlight their work. So I have a friend and her name is Chandler. She makes pieces like this. This piece alone took her about 15 hours to do, and sometimes her commission just doesn't make her enough money. However, Chandler has gone viral several times. Some of her posts get a lot more likes than this one, and people really appreciate her work. But the thing is, she doesn't make money off going viral. What if there was a way for Chandler to actually make a profit from going viral with her work on social media? Well, the evolution of social media has gone a little bit like this. We started off with majority text with Facebook and Twitter, and now we've gone to a medium of mostly videos and photos. But the thing is, in the future, especially with new developments like blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, we're starting to see a lot more value being exchanged on the internet, and there should be a social media for that. Minute wants to be this platform. So right now, there are 4.48 billion people using social media, and that number is only growing. The creator economy market size is $102.4 billion. Kids these days just want to be creators and influencers. The time has passed where people want to be doctors, lawyers. Majority of kids these days want to be creators. So how they would use Minute, it goes a little bit like this. You take a set of photos and you add an audio clip to tell the story behind it. So Chandler would add audio behind her work, her art. And you can also discover from different categories. And when you're watching other people's minutes, you can like it, echo it, which is repost on your page, or tip it. You can tip as low as 10 cents just to show your support for the creator. However, in the future, we want people to be able to mint their posts as non-fungible tokens. Think of a non-fungible token as something that is just a unique item on the internet that has data saying that you are the owner. And we also want to add short video clips and GIFs in minutes so that minutes can be just a universal way to spread any type of content and mint it as NFTs and sell them. The use cases are endless. Imagine being able to have a meme on the internet and profit every time somebody uses it. Or imagine a ticketing service or a concert being able to put the flyer on the social media, and you can buy the NFT of the flyer and show it at the door as your ticket. And our business model is simple. We take 1% from every tip, 1% from every NFT sale. But when we get to 100 million users and they're spending around $5 a month on tipping and NFTs, we can actually generate an annual recurring revenue of $60 million. So how do we get to 100 million users? Well, we want Minute to be a cultural revolution. We want people to have QR code stickers on their street art where you can scan and not only tip the person who created the street art, but you can hear the other stories that they've brought to the world. And we also want a college ambassador program. I'm currently still in college and I have lots of Gen Z friends that are excited about this app and would love to spread word about it. And we also want to put together art shows to get people exposed to actually invest in our creators rather than using them for monetary gain. And to that point, Minute versus Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, those platforms are ad-based business models where they take users' data and they sell it to third parties. Minute, we make our money on the platform. We make our money. We don't make money unless our creators make money, and we want our creators to hold the majority of the power. Also, we want people to be able to live in the present with Minute. You take a photo or a short video of what you're doing now and you tell the story later. It's going to be a supplement to real life rather than a substitute like social media is going toward now. So the people involved right now it's just me. It's not the fellas in the picture on the right. That's just a photographer from one of the people who want to use my app. But I am a software engineer, currently a computer engineering student. I have been working extremely hard on this app, and I feel like this is my life's work right now. It's just something that I want to bring to life more than anything. I've used my own money to hire on Daniel Amaru to get some UI, UX designs together, and also John A. Herman for my branding. And with the 10K from this competition, I'll work with Long Software to get Minute on the App Store and the Android on the Google Play Store by April 2022 using the Flutter platform. Thank you so much for listening. I open the floor for questions.
Thank you, Lance. We're turning it over to the judges.
Hey, great pitch, Lance. My previous startup was in the creative space, so I know this area very well. I'd love to hear your thoughts about customer acquisition and just growing and scaling your user base.
Yeah, so for customer acquisition, I want to start off local in Greensboro. So I'm thinking about putting together an art show that's sponsored by Minute, just a bunch of local artists from the area, and encouraging them to use Minute to spread their work. I want Minute to be more of a cultural thing rather than a new tech gig. But the thing is, people are into NFTs now. And once we get the NFT technology working, which will be after the first version releases. So the beta version, I want people to be able to just use the platform. And then the first version, the first rollout, you'll be able to tip. And the second one, which I want to be released around this time next year, you'll actually be able to take a post and upload it as an NFT onto our online NFT marketplace, which will be on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, more of a comment than a question. You sort of hit the nail on the head when it comes to NFTs blowing up right now, and just generally alt investments in rare collectibles and ultra rare collectibles is huge right now. So again, kudos.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really want people to be able to take their social media posts, because a lot of them are really creative, and people are super fun on social media. I feel like it would be so dope if you were to go viral and you're able to actually turn your post into something that you own.
That's good job on what you're trying to do. When I looked at what you set up, what are the chances of somebody else doing the same things, right? Because I think there's a huge buzz right now on NFTs, and everybody is jumping into the same space. I mean, what stops other folks from doing what you're doing, and
Yeah.
how do you what makes you guys really unique?
Yeah, so I would say our biggest differentiator is that we aren't actually, the Minute social network actually isn't a decentralized app. The app itself is not going to be on the Ethereum blockchain. The NFT marketplace will be on the Ethereum blockchain. So the app itself is going to be free. You won't have to pay gas fees to use it. Right now, decentralized apps, you have to pay to use those, because it costs a lot of money to host that type of data on the Ethereum blockchain. But we're actually going to use Firebase as our backend, and it'll be a completely free app. You can use the app just like you would use any other social platform. It'll be completely free. You'll only pay for what you want to pay for. If you want to tip somebody, or if you want to buy an NFT, that's the main differentiator. Majority of the people that are using decentralized social networks right now, they're paying a little bit every time they like something, every time they post something, they're paying a little bit of money.
Yeah, but I think, just to kind of, I hear what you said, but I think also you should think about, because everything you've put out here could be replicated by somebody else, just the same kind of platform. So yeah. I think you might want to think about something from, what makes your brand, really kind of stand out, or what you guys do a little bit differently from others. But I like the idea. I think it's pretty sound, and the fact that you're not making money off of people, you're making money when people make money, is a good business model. But I think from an engineering perspective, this could be replicated if you haven't really kind of built something that distinguishes what you have out there.
Definitely, yeah. The cultural revolution part, having in-person art shows, that was going to be my main differentiating factor, but I definitely know what you mean. We're still early in the ideation process, so I'm going to take that advice, and sure. I'm going to do something better.
Sure. And look, I think, as a judge here, I'm an engineer, and then you guys are going to see that through all my questions and stuff. If there's anything we could do to kind of help you kind of see things, and we'll love to, help you with that. Okay.
100%. I would love that. Thank you, Patrick.
Sure.
Thank you, Lance. We are going to move on to Sixis from Vision X.
Hi, my name is Sixis Kuda, and I am from Ghana. 4 years ago, I left the shores of Ghana, and I came to the United States, and I came for college. Now, I was in the dorm for over 2 years, and I stayed there with my friend. And after 2 years, I was tired of living there. I wanted to go somewhere else and live together with my friend. So I went online, and then I was searching for a home. I saw this beautiful home online like this. It was so beautiful. This was the place I knew that I was going to stay. I was so excited about it. I said, let's go, let's take a drive. Let's drive around and see how this place actually looked like in person. So we drove around, and it looks like this. I was disappointed at that time, because what I saw online was different from what I saw in person. And so I said, you know what? let's take a drive, because online we don't have enough information to actually let us move into the next house. So we drove around and then we saw a beautiful home. It looked so beautiful like this. I was like, yeah, this is the next home you're gonna live in. I was so excited about it. And what happened next was that I was like, okay, so how much does it cost? I didn't have that information on the spot. And so I was so disappointed again for the second time, because there was no information at that spot. I didn't know how much it cost. I didn't know if it was available. I didn't know which real estate agency was responsible for it. And so it was not informative. So what did I do? I sat down, I put together these problems. And I said, number one, finding a home to buy or rent is difficult. We have unconvincing information about homes at first sight on the internet, and it takes a long time to get home prices on the street. But you know what? We actually saw this problem as an opportunity. And the opportunity was to create an app called VisionX. VisionX allows you to take a picture of a home and you get the home price, you get all other information of the home at the spot. This is realistic, quick, and simple. What we are doing in addition is allowing you to take a drive around any community that you want to find your next home. And whilst you take a drive, you have the homes popping up on your monitor in your car, and you have the prices, and you have all the information of the homes popping up in your car, and you just sit in your comfort and have all that information. And also to tackle the issue of of the environment, what we're also doing is providing e-scooters and e-bikes that are going to help people to tour around communities, and then they're going to have these prices of homes, these information about homes popping up on your screens, and they can make decisions about the home they want next. Now, what value are we adding? We are making it easy to access home prices on the street. We are using computer vision and augmented reality to find homes quicker than ever before, and we are environmentally friendly. Now, how do we make money? That comes down to the big question. Okay, so we allow real estate companies to actually list their homes with us at a fee, and so we make their homes visible to people in the society. Now, we all know that in 2020, there was a big skyrocketing movement for the real estate industry, where so many people were moving from one place to another. And this was because people found out that living in a home was just beyond the four corners of their homes, and was much more about the environment that they found themselves in. And so because of that, people have shown concern about where their houses are found. And so people have been moving from one place to another. And it has shown itself in 2021, and it's going forward for the next years to come. Now, VisionX built its first version of its app 2 months ago, and we currently have 200 listed homes from 4 big real estate groups in Tallahassee. We've reached 500 downloads in just 2 months. And also we are blessed to have a very wonderful and fantastic team. Myself together with my other teammates are very diverse. We are, again, knowledgeable and skilled in the fields that we put together to actually provide the best solution in this industry that we've never seen before. Again, we provide a quick and faster solution than any other company has. We again use computer vision technology, which no other companies use in real estate. We are user-friendly, and we are environmentally friendly as well. And you know what, just to shut this down, I'm just gonna say we are the game changers in real estate. We have come to be the company for the future, and the future is now. Thank you.
All right, so Six does a good job on what you're trying to do, and I see you're trying to do something in the augmented reality space. So my question really is, I mean, is there anybody in this space that is doing something similar? Because I've seen the big companies like Microsoft and Google and even Facebook to some extent, in the augmented reality space. So who's your number one competitor in this space?
So in augmented reality, we do not have people that are going into real estate. The few people that we have going into real estate go into interior design, where they're more concerned about how the in-house looks like. We are more concerned about how to actually view homes from, on the street, and no one else is doing what we're doing. No one else is actually allowing people to view homes from outside in augmented reality.
Well, the reason why I say that is if you look at things like Google Street View and stuff like that, I can see them, jumping into this space if they're not already, where, you can see your house, you could Google and search your house. So what's your plan if a company like Google decides to get into this? Because since they've already mapped out all the the streets. They've done a lot of work that you're about to start doing. What would you do in the case Google or some other map vendors jumps into this space?
Our greatest tool is actually on data optimization, the type of data that we are providing to our users. Because when we actually started, what we did was to go on Google Street to see what Google is doing. And what Google is doing is just to provide you the address and provide you with, we looked at what sort of information can you get about a house on Google. And the sort of information you get about a house on Google is just minimal. And so what we're doing is that, for example, when you're walking around, use your location to kind of like let you know what house is closer to you, your preferences, what you do every day. And that's our AI actually helping to provide that information. With Google, I don't know for the future, but what we are preparing for the future is actually, we have a plan of providing, for example, 3D glasses, where people can use these glasses to actually view homes, get home prices, and all of that. We don't know the plans of Google moving ahead, but we also have our own plans trying to counter, whatever plans that any other companies have.
Okay, thank you.
Would love to hear a little bit more about your go-to-market strategy and who you view as your early adopters and how you're going to go get them.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, we already have 200 listed homes. Before we started, what we did was that we pulled out public data. And then when we use public data, we actually first of all, attracted the first-time users, which we call the mobile phone users, onto the app. And so once we attracted those people on, then what we did was that we then went out to the real estate companies and said, we have this number of traction. We have these people coming to our app. And so if you list your home with us, we're going to make your home visible to these people around. And so we now have real estate companies now trying to list their homes with us, and that's how we then make money. In addition to that, what we also have is we have a premium account where you kind of like view homes in a video motion. So that's another medium to which we make money for ourselves. So instead of just actually taking a picture of a home, you have a video motion also available where you can pay a premium account and then you can take a video motion all around and you have all the information about homes and prices just coming to you.
Okay, so who's your target customer? You just said you make money from the real estate companies, right?
Yeah. So it's more or less like the egg and chicken problem over here, where we are looking at both the mobile phone users, people that are going to use our app, and we are looking at the real estate company. So we are more or less like bridging the gap, bringing these two guys together at one center. So these two people are our customers.
Thank you, Sixes.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Evans from PrescribeDTX.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Evans Pope III. I'm here to present PrescribeDTX. We are bringing digital therapy options to your doctor's fingertips. One thing I can say is that, unfortunately, we will all get sick. That may be from something like a common cold or even something more serious. As a pharmacy student, I can say that no one likes to take pills. Absolutely no one, as ironic as it might be, even myself. Well, what do you do if you don't want to take pills? Well, in 2021, after the COVID pandemic, we saw and heard about digital this, digital that, in this case, digital health. Well, in comes digital therapeutics. Digital therapeutics are a growing subcategory of digital health that offer several options that are not pills. So specifically, what are digital therapeutics? Again, digital therapeutics are not pills. They're actually software options. So they're evidence-based and many have been validated by the FDA. There are currently about 40 options that have been validated by the FDA. And these options treat various conditions ranging from anxiety to diabetes and other conditions as well. But the issue is, if you are a physician or any other clinician, what option do you go with for your patient? Because this is a brand new cutting edge subcategory of healthcare, there are so many options available, but very few individuals are aware of where to find these options and which ones are viable. So in comes PrescribeDTX. At PrescribeDTX, what we have done, we've created an AI-powered software platform that is easy to use. It's a searchable database that offers multiple options based on a variety of medical conditions. So the digital therapeutic market is again, it's very new. In 2021, it's a $4 billion global market that's estimated to grow to about 19 billion by the year 2028. So what we hope to do is tap into that market by targeting healthcare payers, as well as health systems and employers. So our team consists of a medical student, a data science and machine learning expert, as well as myself. And as you see here, we have educational as well as professional experiences from some top tier institutions such as the NIH, Mayo Clinic, which is the #1 ranked hospital in the world, as well as Cleveland Clinic, which is the 2nd ranked hospital system in the world. And thus far, together, we've worked tirelessly to develop this prototype. And since the beginning of this year, we've received not 1, but 2 grants in total, coming to about $65,000. And our ultimate goal is to make digital therapeutics easily accessible to doctors and other clinicians, as well as health systems, payers such as Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and employers, just to bring these options available to patients everywhere. Thank you.
Judges will be now opening up the floor to questions.
Hey, Evan, I want to jump in real quickly, ask a question. Great pitch. In regards to the problem that you're solving, can you just describe that real briefly again to me? I think it wasn't very clear for me to understand what problem are you solving, for who, and how does your solution address it?
Yeah, so again, this is a cutting edge field. So physicians and other clinicians who may prescribe various therapies, such as digital therapeutics, need a place to find these options because this is a very new field. I mean, so new that if you ask 95% of clinicians, they have no clue as to where to find these options. So specifically what we're trying to do is offer a tool similar to Google or some searchable platform for these physicians to easily find a list of options for their patients.
Perfect. Now I get it 110%.
Yeah, I agree. That was super helpful. Thank you, Evans. I would love to double click for a moment on how you make money.
All right, so right now, again, because this is such a new field, what we are doing is still investigating, the best options moving forward for revenue streams. So just to give you an example, many payers such as Blue Cross Blue Shield, CVS Caremark are still investigating how they should create their formularies, which are their list of drugs and other things that they will cover and to what extent. So right now what we're thinking is it'll be subscription based, and we'll target these health systems as well as potentially offering our platform to patients themselves.
Very cool. Could you talk a little bit about your competitors, if you've done any research in that area?
Yeah, so thus far, we only have one competitor because this is very brand new. So there's one competitor that does something similar. So this competitor has a platform that's similar. However, it's more so focused on the overall digital health umbrella. However, they don't hone in on the digital therapeutics market specifically. So essentially, we're bringing something brand new to a brand new discipline.
So Evans, this is Patrick Muniz again. Good job on what you're doing. As you well know, I'm also in the health IT space. Just a piece of advice, and not a question here. I'll recommend that you build your product on standard based. There's a lot of movements in the healthcare space right now. There's a standard called FHIR, FHIR. I don't know if you're familiar with it. As much as possible, as you build your product out, make sure it's built on that standard, because that's the standard. That's where the entire industry is moving to right now. So if you have questions, I can talk to you offline. But just a piece of advice, I think this is going to be the wave of the future in the things that you're trying to do. But make sure you're building on a standard, protocol, and that allows your product to be portable across different platforms.
Yes, thank you, and we'd love to speak with you offline.
Sure.
Well, thank you, Evans. And up next, we have Camille from EXTA.
Hi, we are Team EXTA, and EXTA stands for Excelling Through Adversity. We are on a mission to become the #1 mental health resource within athletics, because athletes need therapy too. While playing NCAA Division I basketball, I suffered from 2 injuries requiring surgical repair. This ultimately resulted in non-renewal of my scholarship and left my world instantaneously shattered. I literally invested blood, sweat, and tears into a sport that had become my entire identity. And after the tables turned, I was depressed and I felt like a failure. At that time, I needed someone who deeply understood the many layers of my transition out of sports, and someone who could help me to navigate through that trauma. To be quite honest, all athletes have suffered from hard times, whether it be an injury or reduced playing time, or having issues with a coach, or just feeling pressure from the demands of trying to handle it all. Also, we've heard about the striking mental health journeys of Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, Serena Williams, and countless other athletes who are pushing the conversation of mental health to the forefront of sports and media. Well, now it's our time. We must change the game, and EXTA is the solution. I needed EXTA when I lost my scholarship, and so many athletes are in need of it right now. EXTA is a web-based tool that provides athletes with easy, private, and affordable access to licensed mental health clinicians and mental performance coaches who deeply understand the importance of sports to athletes. EXTA's revenue stems from our self-pay model at only $60 a session, offering 39% gross margins within our B2C subscription lane. Our B2B model offers schools a set amount of sessions each year, and we offer a sliding scale of pricing based on the amount of sessions purchased. Our therapists love being a part of EXTA's network because we cut their pay cycles by almost 75%, offering payment within 3 to 5 business days versus having to wait several weeks to receive reimbursement payment from health insurance companies. We are right now finishing up product development and HIPAA approvals, and EXTA will fully launch in early 2022. The chief medical officer of the NCAA recently noted that mental health is the single most important health and safety issue facing student athletes today. 23% of college athletes reach clinical levels of depressive symptoms, but only 10% of athletes experiencing psychological issues actually reach out and seek mental help. There is a loud market need for EXTA, 1, to reduce stigma, and 2, to improve accessibility. There are thousands of NCAA institutions representing over 500,000 current athletes, and less than 15% have a mental health clinician on staff for their athletic programs. If we capture even 3% of athletes and pull them into the $77.6 billion behavioral health industry, then we'll become a multi-million-dollar company. EXTA's most potent differentiating factors include our niche community, the EXTA certification, and our intentionality in relation to ensuring our clinical, coach, and cultural representation is in alignment with the breadth of diversity consistent with athletes in the NCAA and all over the country. EXTA's revenue drivers will largely stem from our B2B model with NCAA institutions, sports leagues, clubs, conferences, and other enterprise partnerships who value tailored service provision. So far, we've raised funding as a Rock Accelerator team at HBS, and we were recently selected as a Harvard Law School entrepreneurship team. Lastly, we have deep contacts in the athletic realm, and we are currently in discussion with 2 schools for our pilot. Our team is an integration of current and former athletes from the NFL to the NCAA. Right now, we're raising a round of $150,000, and we will use the funding to propel our brand awareness and to invest in our digital infrastructure, organizational capacity, and our data privacy mechanisms. Please support us as we become the #1 source for athletes who are seeking mental health services to excel through their adversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Judges?
I'll go first. Great job. Wonderful. Cindy Mitchell from Blue Flare. My question is about the $60 per session, or is it $60 per month?
$60 per session, so it's $120 a month.
Okay, great. And what happens during that session?
Yeah, so athletes are able to come in and talk about essentially whatever adversity or hardship they may be facing with the coach or the therapist that they're matched with. And so depending upon exactly whatever the athlete is faced with at that time, they may come up with goals to set during the session. They may come up with a journaling activity to come back to for the next session, have homework activities and such. But essentially the therapist is working with the athlete to really understand what exactly they are going through to help them navigate their hard time.
Thank you.
Can I get a follow up to the question here? Is this going to be online? Is this like a virtual type thing?
Yes,
or
these are virtual sessions.
It's all virtual sessions. Okay, great. So do you see like crossover, work, for like, because mental health is becoming a big topic, these days. Do you see, crossover, to folks in the workplace? Like I could see a combination. I can't remember the name of the company that does that tries to recruit for diversity. The first person that pitched to us, I think, was Spotlight. Where there is a combination, where you can apply this in the workplace too, right? Because there's a huge need for mental health. When you look at a lot of problems that people have been, in the COVID era, is usually about how people feel that mental health building. Have you thought about crossover appeals into like other sectors and stuff?
Yeah, yes, definitely expanding our TAM 100%. As we continue to evolve, we want to incorporate more users through the expansion of our TAM, and we would like to work, towards providing services for people who, I think, one, have physical activity as a major element of their daily regimen. So think of a marathon runner, a Peloton rider, a city league basketball player, or anyone who works out on a consistent basis and wants to improve their performance or may have difficulty navigating their time, or also just, I think, just competitors generally. So musicians, chess players, EA gamers, essentially anyone who kind of has to sort of fish hook from their gut motivation and fervor to keep going in a competitive atmosphere. We believe that EXTA has the potential to address a broader market and provide mental wellness to a lot of different types of markets.
Thank you.
And quickly, great pitch. It was very clear. Understood it from the very beginning. In regards to product development, who on your team or how are you going to go about developing the platform?
Yeah, great question. So right now we are working, we have a developer, a software engineer he's taken the website that we currently have in our code and is essentially kind of enhancing that to ensure that we are HIPAA compliant and that all of the functionality that we have kind of intended for EXTA is truly going to be in the platform once we launch in early next year. And so essentially our lead developer is kind of working through that. But as far as like the product pieces and ensuring that we really know who our customers are and developing the personas and such, we have a head of product who's also a Harvard grad. She was just recently finished up her master's in school of education at Harvard, and has been very helpful with ensuring that we really understand who our customers are and that we've been able to kind of like create really strong buyer journeys as well.
Sure. Can I piggyback also on his question on your product development? I think, do you plan on integrating with the medical records of each of, is this going to be one of those things that, you said it was going to be paid by insurance, right?
Down the line. So right now it's a self-pay model. We are not paneled by a health insurance agency right now.
Okay. All right, but I think, do you see a situation where you can integrate with, your medical records? So like things like this also shows up in your medical record. And if that's the case, I'm going to give you the same advice I gave one of the presenters here, is really make sure you're based on standard base. I heard you mention HIPAA, and high trust and the whole works. You need to kind of make sure you're based on standard, because medical records or personal health information needs to be secured, needs to be protected and stuff. So I'll recommend that you think about some standard-based, technologies that come alongside a lot of the health related stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Completely received that feedback. So thank you.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you, Camille. We are going to move on to my main with Maya.
Hi, everyone. Greetings. I am Maya Wright, and I attend Florida A&M University, also enrolled in the University of Miami, and my company is called My Main. It's the first streetwear company that uses wearable technology to represent Black culture based off of the city or state that it is derived. It was founded in 2018. I was 16 years old, and I started by customizing shoes because I felt that your shoes should be an authentic representation of yourself. However, the amount of school dance battles and local dance battles in my area made me realize that your clothing should also be an authentic representation of your culture and yourself. In countries like Japan, positive symbols are written on their streetwear. However, in America, there is a lack of cultural representation, especially for those who are considered the creators of streetwear as a result of introducing hip hop. So I decided to usher in My Main, and I consider it new era streetwear. The garment designs carry positive symbols, words of affirmation that reflect the culture of the person's or where the person is from. And I've created designs for Florida and Chicago thus far. And with the resources I have, I now sell out of stores in Chicago and Atlanta. And I post videos that reflect my target audience, and these videos resonate with my audience due to the scenery and the individuals and also cultural dances. My target audience is between the ages of 16 and 35, and those that would like to authentically represent their area and those who would also like to display their uniqueness. The video to your right is a boy dancing. He doesn't have anything that culturally represents him, but my target audience is between the ages of 16 as 35, as I repeated earlier, and they're the most active on social media, and they follow dancing and trends. And the boy on the right, he doesn't have anything that represents him. You kind of have to guess. So as a result, as you can see here, this video has over 116,000 views on TikTok, and he's wearing one of my hoodies. And My Main is considered a cultural movement. The 116,000 views are comprised of people that are interested in viewing their own culture and people that are interested in viewing the culture of others. Now, as I stated earlier, wearable technology. Wearable technology is QR codes that are printed on the garment. So far, I created designs for Harold's Chicken Restaurant in Chicago, Illinois, and also Slutty Vegan in Atlanta, Georgia. And the QR code connects the businesses to their consumers. The future of My Main includes supporting the youth that support My Main, because youth are considered the creators of the culture. This website that I created the face of connects opportunities to underserved youth. As of doing interviews nationwide, I discovered that the success is primarily linked to the lack of, it's connected to the amount of resources that you have within your area. And this site will connect scholarships, internships, mentorships, and trades to underserved youth. And it will be funded in the future when My Main becomes big. And 5 years time, I'll have Design Hub, which are physical properties, real estate, and stores where you'll see youth actually designing art that represent their area. Because in 10 years time, I won't be able to create designs for Atlanta, Chicago, etc. And My Main will be everlasting because youth are the creators of the culture, and art is right underneath our noses. This is examples of inner city work on our trains, on our walls. And this is a financial overview of when I started. When I was 16 years old, I used Shopify to sell. I generated over $4,000, and as of November, I'm touching 5,000. I've had over 7,500 online store sessions, and my clothing is sold internationally. My Main will continue to thrive if I receive funding for e-commerce assistance, because my sales are primarily through Instagram and Facebook, and I need to hone in on that target market. A web programmer for the site that you saw earlier, a domestic manufacturer because I create all my designs overseas. Samples cost $200. 50% of that is shipping, and further to invest in inventory. The more that I buy overseas, the less that the cost will be per product, and I will be able to create items that my target market can't afford. And further funding will allow me to do research to find businesses that are interested in connecting with their consumers the way that I showed you earlier, and further people that would also just like to wear intricate designs in general. My name is Maya Wright, founder of My Main, gateway for urban youth designers. This is a way to connect with me via Instagram or Facebook, My Main. And if you would like to support or purchase from my website, it's mind-main.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maya. For the purposes of time, judges, we're going to ask that you just ask one question per presenter.
I can ask a question. I think your designs are amazing, but I would want to hear more about the tech side. Is the QR code the extent of the tech component, or does it get more intricate or in detailed? Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
The QR code does connect the consumers to the business's site, and that's as far as it goes. If I were to have like my own brand would print QR codes and that would connect to my site, and there would be an extension to the site that you saw earlier that connects opportunities to you.
Okay. Yeah, just a piece of advice, and just look into NFTs and technology that's out there. If there's like some component where you buy the digital version, you get the real life version, and then there's value attached to that. Maybe there's an opportunity there that you can turn into a huge idea. But great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. We are going to go to the next team. David from Private Receipt.
Hi, everyone. Hello and welcome. I'm pleased to introduce to you Private Receipt. For most people, managing receipts is a hassle. For instance, if your only choice is a physical receipt at the checkout, you might have a box in your closet that looks like this around tax season. Or you might only be able to receive your receipt via email or text. Not to mention, they're difficult to find and aren't usually itemized, as you can see here. To put this into perspective, 91% of our market uses receipt apps and coupons to save money. Based on a large-scale multi-generational survey consisting of 400 participants, 91% of our surveyors indicated that they prefer a centralized platform for digital receipts. But what if there's an easier way? What if there's a way to keep all your receipts, all your receipt data in a centralized location? What about a place that provides you the assurance that data will be kept private and not sold like other companies do? What about all this happening without changing the way you spend your time at the checkout counter? Introducing Private Receipt, an application that will centralize and digitalize all of your receipts into one location privately on your smartphone. On the left-hand side, you can see the home screen of the application. This is where you can see all your purchases in one location. On the right-hand side, you can see detailed receipt view. So how does this work? With the help of our API, it is as simple as inserting or swiping your payment method at the point of sale to receive your receipt. Once the transaction is approved, the receipt will be transmitted to the account holder's smartphone. At Private Receipt, we know that simple, better, and faster is what our market loves, and so do we. Private Receipt has three main values. We have the consumer, the merchant, and the advertiser. Now, the value for the consumer is that we're providing them with a platform that will centralize and digitalize their receipts in one location, as well as helping the customers get a better value for the things that they routinely purchase, as well as items that they might want to purchase in the near future. For the merchants, we'll help them save money on receipt paper and ink, as well as drive more customers to their stores. Now, the value for the advertiser is that we are helping them suggest the next great purchase for their customers. As you can see, all three work hand in hand to provide the best experience Private Receipt has to offer. So as receipts flow through our platform, we plan to implement a For You page to help users make their next best purchase. This page will allow users to see catered promotional advertisement based on their shopping trends. Our system will be able to understand what, when, and how users shop through our artificial intelligence. So our model incorporates three tiers: the advertiser, the AI, and the consumer, with the AI acting as a bridge between the consumer and the advertiser while maintaining privatization of consumer data. Both the advertiser and the consumer interacts with the AI, where the AI maps uses buying trends needed to serve advertisements to the users. Private Receipt expects a user base in the age range of 25 to 35 who are primarily iOS users. We are starting in Miami, where there is a large population of freelance and small business owners. We can anticipate a serviceable, obtainable market of 300,000, and from there, a serviceable, available market that expands to 17 million in the state of Florida. Our total available market is 110 million in the United States. The user expense data is based off of each user making three transactions a week. At just 10,000 users, we can anticipate 6.7 million forms of receipts to flow through our platform. At 50,000 users, we can anticipate 33 million forms of receipt. Now this data is extremely valuable to Private Receipt, and we will show you why in the upcoming slide. At just 10,000 users on our platform, we can expect 124,000 in revenue. At 100,000 users on our platform, we can expect 1.2 million in revenue. We are charging 8 cents cost per click on promotional advertising. These numbers grow at an exponential rate, and profit margin for private receipt is forecasted around 55% at just 10,000 users. So we're asking for $10,000 that'll go towards point of sale testing equipment, machine learning and consulting services, security consulting and testing, as well as marketing support. Antonio Manolfi is our CEO. Me, David Joseph, I'm our COO, and Nathaniel Leonard is our CTO. Thank you. We are Private Receipt. We're here to organize your data. We value your privacy, and we provide the best experience in receiving and managing your receipts.
Thank you, David. We're going to turn it over to our judges for one question.
I'm happy to go. Hello, good to see you again, David.
Good to see you.
So how do you differentiate yourself from folks like Expensify and File and Concur, et cetera?
Yeah, so the issue with a lot of these companies is that they'll give you your expense report. Like they'll say, hey, you just shopped at Walmart and this is what you spent, but they won't break down the itemized list. So if you bought a shirt, it's not going to say that you bought a shirt or what kind of shirt. It's just going to say you just spent X amount of money at Walmart or at whatever store. So we're different because we're actually, not only are we categorizing everything, but we're breaking down all of your expenses into one location.
Yeah, but for tax purposes, why would you need an itemized breakdown? Give me a use case.
Yeah, so for example, I have a friend who's a CPA, and he told me that, you know, a lot of times he'll have a lot of people come in with like just boxes of receipts, like just big bags of receipts that he has to actually go in and, you know, put everything into the system. Now, a private receipt, everything's already there. So with the click, hopefully with the click of a button, they'll be able to transmit all of that data to their CPA. So it makes it easier, not just for the consumer, but for people who do taxes as well, for accountants.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to Ariana from Vela Shoes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me put in present mode to make sure you can all see. Are we good with the sharing? Perfect. All right. Psychologists have long since proven that if you look good, you feel good. We've heard the quote. Yet millions of women don't have the option to do either. I'm one of them. My feel-good moment is when I embody the lifestyle of a boss woman. I would buy those two-piece dress suits, the accessories, anything that I could, but one thing that I could never find was shoes in my extended shoe size. I wear an 11 wide, and when I'm shopping for shoes to accommodate for my business lifestyle, I always run into shelves with little to no options. I find myself going to multiple stores, shopping online for hours, even borrowing shoes just to get through the day. My footwear fashion expression was never an option compared to women with smaller feet. And I'm not alone. 16 million US women go through the same problem of finding fashionable and professional shoes in their extended shoe size. For decades, we've been unsupported by society's beauty standards and unconsidered within the retail footwear market. How are we supposed to be able to show up as our best self if we can't even find the shoes to accommodate us? My name is Ariana, and I'm the proud founder of Vela, where business fashion meets extended shoe sizes. I created Vela to give them availability. Vela is the only business lifestyle shoe retailer for women with extended shoe sizes. We curate dress shoes from multiple vendors and provide our personal branded shoes and offerings that satisfy size variety, fashion flexibility, and event-specific shopping. The business model is simple. When customers purchase our partner shoes, that brand pays us an affiliate commission. If they purchase Vela shoes, we receive that full sales price. Current retailers continue to supply the bare minimum without a real commitment to the community. We succeed because we create the footwear space that caters to them, rather than having them conform to spaces that don't acknowledge them. Not only do we provide an attractive selection, but we're focusing on the hardest category for these women to find in their size, dress shoes. And as the founder who's experienced this firsthand, I'm more prepared to talk about what value truly means to these women. Women are buying 4 pairs of shoes per year, which represents $3 billion in the extended size shoe market. Retailers are missing out on 30% of this $34 billion industry. In addition, the plus size market is growing twice as fast. And as foot sizes grow, the market options shrink. That's why now, more than ever, is the best time to invest in Vela. We plan on capturing our market through affinity groups, as this market is leaning on word of mouth and association groups to drive interest. Collegiate partnerships, where we collaborate on initiatives with pre and post-college athletes who serve as our early adopters. And sponsoring formal pop-up events where organizers are seeking uniformed apparel, such as dress shoes. We interviewed over 300 women and found that Vela was indeed a need in the market. To bring Vela to life, we participated in 3 pre-accelerators, raised over $25K, secured our IP, and grew our community. We're seeking $50K to allocate towards marketing our brand, purchasing more inventory, and working capital. I have assembled an amazing team of advisors with a combined 35-year background in the apparel and e-commerce space. With our love for women empowerment and shoes, I'm confident that we have what it takes to make Vela a reality. Our mission is to help our customers embody the boss women that they are, not what society has defined for them, with the options available. For all you women out there with a size 9 shoe and above, know this: your foot size is bold, beautiful, classy. There are amazing shoe options for you to choose from, and you can find them all on Vela. Thank you so much, and sign up for our email list on our website at velashoes.com to learn more.
Thank you, Ariana. We're going to turn it over to the judges for one question.
I got one.
Awesome
Hi,
pitch.
Ariana.
I was gonna say, I was like, I would love when the ladies jump in.
Yeah, no, that was a dope pitch. I think that you have such a big opportunity, not just in shoes, and we talked about this a bit earlier on, but in all types of different areas that different body types are not really being acknowledged or provided for. I would love to hear more about your strategy in terms of e-commerce. I know that we discussed potentially you having an actual store, but I want to know if you've evolved your thinking on that front.
Yes, so to clarify, you want to know how I'm approaching e-commerce versus the brick and
Actual
mortar.
physical locations, right?
Definitely. So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, I think e-commerce is the future. I know I've heard a couple of people today say that they plan on having physical locations. So I'm just interested in hearing more about how folks are thinking about that, whether you find a necessity to have a brick and mortar location, or whether you realize efficiencies by sort of taking that warehouse and fast ship approach that Amazon and others have seen such great success with.
Definitely. Thank you for clarifying. So we want to start on e-commerce first because that's where our target audience is. As a person who wears a larger shoe size, we've completely given up on the in-store shopping experience because there are limited options available. But to combat that, we want to eventually move into brick and mortar to have representation in stores. A lot of people are still hesitant and still go in stores to try to attempt to find shoes in their size because they want that personal experience of trying on the shoe and seeing how it looks. But as of now, we're starting on e-commerce to really gauge the audience and prepare them and train them when we transition into the brick and mortar location. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Ariana. And then we're gonna go into our last pitch, which is Julian from Abstract Art Machine.
Greetings, we are the Abstract Art Machine, or AbArt for short, your #1 platform for digital fine art. My name is Julian Barnes. I'm the founder and CEO, an artist, an entrepreneur, an engineer, and I have one simple question for you. How much do you think the Mona Lisa would be worth if Leonardo da Vinci made it today and uploaded it to Instagram? Is it still worth $1 billion? Maybe you're thinking 69 million like People's NFT, or is more realistically worth 457 likes, 33 comments, and 10 untagged reposts. Now, if you don't want this to happen to your art, this is where AbArt comes in. We're a digital fine art marketplace that guarantees security and payment for artists and quality and scarcity for art buyers. At our core, we believe that all art is an extension of the artist who created it. And as such, it has its own unique mind, body, and soul, corresponding to how it was made, what it's made of, and why it was made. And the only way to convey the true worth of the art is to properly communicate these three factors. And now, keeping this core principle in mind, along with the insights from the dozens of digital artists we interviewed, we realized that there is currently no standard way to determine the quality or the market value of digital fine art. And as a result, both artists and buyers have the difficulties identifying who their target audience is, leading to lower returns for artists and dissatisfied buyers. So, we will provide a transparent process for appraising and curating digital art on a secure platform built to accommodate the needs of both buyers and sellers. Think of us as the Sotheby's of digital fine art. Our process couldn't be simpler. Verified artists will exclusively upload their artwork to us, where we'll secure it, mint it as an NFT, and convert it into an ABARM print file. We'll then use AI to automatically generate digital derivatives of your art that are optimized to be shared on your respective social media accounts and drive traffic to our platform, where your artwork can be properly viewed without fear of unauthorized access or infringement of your copyright. And then finally, we'll use the measurable engagement with your artwork and combine that data with a variety of other factors that speak to the quality of your art to give you an ABARM guaranteed appraisal of your work. This means that when you decide to sell your work on our site, we believe in your art so much that if no one buys your work during the selling period, we will for our ABARM guaranteed price. Now, this doesn't mean that you as the artist can't list your work for more or higher on our website. By all means, please do so. It just means that you as the artist are guaranteed to profit from your work as long as it's sold on our platform. Now, there are over 500,000 digital artists in the United States. This includes animators, photographers, illustrators, graphic designers, basically any creative who uses a computer or digital equipment to make their art. But our strategy will be to focus on the emerging digital artists. We're going to use targeted campus advertisement to recruit student digital artists to participate in 4-month production cycles, where we'll work hand in hand to make and market quality digital fine art, all culminating in a gallery showcase of the collaborating students' work, where we'll guarantee that their work will sell for twice its ABARM appraisal price or will buy it. Now, once we've gained enough traction, we'll implement a hybrid SaaS and marketplace business model. Admirers are free to sign up and experience their favorite artists' work. Collectors and creators pay a monthly subscription to be able to host digital galleries and securely upload digital art with no transaction fees. And investors pay a 2% service fee on all transactions to buy, sell, and trade their digital fine art assets. We're doing it this way because we aren't trying to present ourselves as another website where artists can upload their work and sell on the internet, but rather as an essential service that all artists should use if they are trying to market or sell their work online. Now, the global online art sales market is currently evaluated at $12 billion and growing. But in accordance with our go-to-market strategy, our TAM is actually the 300 plus accredited art universities in the United States, of which 39 have dedicated digital art programs. Our goal is to work with the students of the 3 digital art schools in Florida to generate $50,000 in sales over the next year and $1.5 million in sales over the next 3 years. Now, recently, we've already participated in the Pharrell Williams Black Ambition Pre-Accelerator, the Chanel Leadership Workshop, and we're semifinalists in the 2021 Future Founders U-Pitch competition. And with your $10,000 investment, we'll be able to fund our first drop of exclusive digital fine art, expected to generate a 5x return over the next year, as well as high quality content for marketing and brand identification. Now, I want to say thank you guys for taking the time to listen to my pitch. This business is very personal to me. My dad's an artist, and growing up, I saw him constantly sell his work for below market value because, simply put, not all bills can get paid off an art teacher's salary. And you can only complain about a problem for so long without doing anything before you realize that you yourself are a part of the problem. So help us engineer a world where artists are guaranteed to profit off their innovation. And join ABARM, your #1 platform for digital fine art.
Thank you, Julian. Now we'll open up the floor to one question, and then following that, the judges will deliberate on our winner.
Hey, Julian, quick question. Great pitch, by the way. And in regards to the thing that you said about you will purchase every item that's not sold by, another person that wants to purchase on the platform. What did you mean by that? You're going to buy all the art from the artist, regardless of who wants it or not?
Not necessarily. So it kind of plays into our customer acquisition costs. So the initial artist that we're going to be working with, the initial student artist that we're going to be working with, we're going to set aside around maybe $600 to $750 to have them do between 5 to 7 works of art. The first 5 will be works of art that we just pay them on a general fee of around $150 to be a part of the gallery showcase. But then the next 5 are going to be the ABARM guaranteed appraisal priced artworks, where we say that trying to establish a standard for digital fine art. We're going to say this artwork right here, we would expect it should take about 2 days to do. It should require this level of talent. And therefore, based off of our establishing standard, it should cost around $150. And so when we have the gallery showcase, we participate in the marketing campaign, and we try to generate traffic towards our gallery and the sale of the artwork. When it comes to the gallery showcase, we believe that our appraisal of the artwork is so valid and accurate. When we host an in-person, but using digital art gallery, we're confident that it's going to sell for bare minimum more than $300. But if it doesn't, we're willing to purchase that from the digital artist. But there's a limited number of artworks that will be hosted at the gallery. People can't just upload 10,000 works of art and then say they've all been appraised for 200, you owe me 2 million. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that seems really tough, being able to evaluate all the artwork and generate a profit on each one, as opposed to like letting the market decide what the value of each artwork would be. So it's something to think about, but great job on what you've accomplished so far.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges. It was a tough deliberation. Well, I am proud to let you guys know that as a result of the generosity of our sponsors, that we are going to have 3 prizes today. And our 3rd place finalist, who is going to receive $500 towards purchasing some business supplies or anything that they need, that is going to Minute. Minute, congratulations. Woo! Our 2nd place winner, it's going on to, and this was a hard one. Before I announce our 2nd place winner, we had it was a bit of a drawdown between the 2nd and the 1st place winner. It literally could have gone either way. So you are a winner too, if you ask me. But our 2nd place winner goes to Vela Shoes. Okay? Congratulations, Ariana. So we're going to be giving you a chance. And Vela Shoes will be getting $2,500 towards her business. Okay? Now, drum roll, please. We're going to be announcing our grand prize winner. Our grand prize winner, who will be receiving $10,000 towards their business, is going to Exta. Exta is our grand prize winner. So, woo-hoo! Congratulations. Seriously speaking, this was a very, very difficult call. Judges, you did a great job. Just wanted to get a sense to hear from you judges first on your deliberation process and how tough it was. And then we will give each of our winners an opportunity to say a few words.
I'd love to jump in. I really enjoyed being a judge and watching all the pitches. I'm an investor at Visible Hands VC, and I would love to be able to stay in touch with all of the founders because we actively invest at pre-seed, and would love to consider all of you guys for our next cohort where we invest $25K up front. And through our 14-week fellowship, you can potentially get up to an additional $150K investment from Visible Hands. So I would love to stay in touch with everyone because this was really great. And congrats to all the winners.
I'll go next. So Cindy Mitchell, this was really hard and everyone was phenomenal. And I just appreciate your creativity and your ideas, your innovation. You solved a lot of problems through your ideas in your business. And anything that I can do, please reach out. If that's recruiting or any HR help that you may need, please let us know. And good luck.
The goal here really is an opportunity for you to fine tune your ideas, right? Bounce it off of people that are listening to what you're pitching and giving you feedback.
So many amazing entrepreneurs. And I just want to underscore for you, because I am a founder myself. I pitch 8 times a day sometimes. Once you get into your groove, the sky's the limit.
I just wanted to say I'm proud of you guys. I've seen how your pitches have evolved since their inception. So I'm just very proud of you guys for showing up today and showing out for yourselves. and the sky's the limit. So just keep it going and just keep pitching.
Fantastic. All right, Lance, you want to say a few words?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who was involved. This was an opportunity that was sent to me, and I, just going off on my own with this idea that I'm really passionate about, just getting this validation, it really, really means a lot to me. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Welcome. Ariana?
So to say, I am like speechless. And I want to congratulate like Lance and Camille and everybody, honestly, because I was listening to the pitches and I'm like, I know somebody who can do this and would love that. It just feels so good to be in a space where people get it, as we're fostering these ideas and pitching and putting ourselves out there. And I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that we could just have some shoes for women with larger feet. So I'm going to hand it over. But thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Welcome. And Camille.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I am just so overjoyed and overwhelmed. Thank you. I'm so grateful. I was not expecting that we would win, but again, so overjoyed. It is very, very hard, as you know, extremely arduous raising funds, especially non-dilutive funds, when and if you don't have the social capital to really dig into these networks with a lot of money. So thank you for this. I haven't seen this before in a pitch competition, and I'm just really glad that this was so thoughtful and curated to really help us get to this point. So thank you, and congrats to everyone. Congrats to all the finalists and to all the winners. Thank you all so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you guys so much. Again, thanks to all our sponsors for making today happen. Judges, again, thank you. All our finalists, we are so proud of you. And again, this is our first pitch competition, and we look forward to having another one, our second next year. So stay tuned for that. You can follow us on social at NW Foundation _ so you can stay up to date with all the upcoming events that we have. And thank you so much. And let's continue to instill the dream in everyone and in all that we do. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. This was beautiful. I loved it from the beginning to the end. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.